exploring financial fitness over the last few weeks, taking a look at the three main areas that affect your financial wellness: what you earn, what you spend, and what you save. First, we cover different approaches to your income and how to align your goals with what you're bringing in. And then we talked about taking an honest look at how and when you spend your money. Today, we're going to explore our final aspect of financial health: what you save. Now, take a look back at those goals. Remember those 5 goals that I asked you to write down last week of where you want your money to go? Are you saving towards them? How are you doing that? Now, your goals may not be stocking away a lot of retirement, money, or paying for your kids' college in full. I get that. Other goals are important too, and please don't be afraid to share them with us in the next quarterly meeting or in your initial meeting if you're not working with us yet. Some people are embarrassed that retirement and college goals aren't their main goals, or that there's something else they'd rather do with their money. I'll say the same thing here that I said about spending. This is a judgment-free zone. A judgment-free zone, Karen. You heard me. If you're one of those people who are not making the same financial decisions as those around you, and you feel like the odd man out, take heart. I can assure you that most people who do things the traditional way tend to be more vocal than those who don't. And those who march to their own drum in making financial decisions aren't wrong, they're just wired differently. So I'll admit that a few years into my career, this drove me crazy. But now I know that it's all just part of the wonderful difference that we all have. Financial matters aren't always black and white. One question I often get, in fact, about savings goals is whether they need to be actually adjusted. And the simple answer is yes. But I'm not just going to tell you, hey, as a financial planner, you need to save more, like you probably are thinking I'm going to say. Nope. One reason I always ask how much is in your checking and savings accounts during planning meetings is to decipher your current pattern of spending and saving. We all have one. For example, maybe we decided that $25,000 is a good emergency fund for you, and you typically keep between $0 and $5,000 in your checking account. I put it in, Dave, and then it goes out. If we're on a call and you tell us that your checking account suddenly has $75,000 balance and your emergency fund has doubled to $50,000, I'm going to say, hey, what's up? Because something has clearly happened. Why are you suddenly hoarding cash? Maybe it's as simple as, I had a really good you're at work, Dave, and that resulted in a big bonus. Or maybe you came into an inheritance or sold some properties. But just as often as we hear that the client is working towards keeping a job, maybe that the company they work for is in the midst of massive layoffs. But then other times we hear, hey, we're saving for that kitchen we've been talking about for 10 years. Oh yeah, that's right. Or, hey Dave, I'm thinking about a new car and I have no idea how much it costs. And in today's world, truly, you have no idea how much a new car costs, even if you can find one. But they may have $50,000 in cash, or $75,000 in cash, even though they never spent more than $50,000 on a car. In each of these scenarios, there's an event with an unknown cost. And I know as a financial planner that many people, when they're unsure, they tend to just lock down and freeze up. And I also know that you have one shot at saving for your retirement goals. And I don't want to see cash remain idle when it could be working as hard for you as you worked as hard to actually earn it. So in these cases, we make a mental note that it's okay to carry a higher balance for a while, as long as you don't let indecision turn in from a few months of idling cash into a few years. Lots of money, you see, gets thrown away just simply by indecision and sitting there. So of course, when it comes to saving, it is best to start out with that fundamental but often overlooked emergency fund. How much to save in an emergency fund? That's always one of the most common questions that we get. And the answer is simple. It depends. Maybe you're a W-2 employee with that regular, reliable income. Or are you a contract worker? Is your job seasonal? If you're in an eat-what-you-kill profession or self-employed, you'll probably need more to tide you over through the lean times of your occupation. Whatever your sleep at night number is, though, we can help you work to not only find it, but also work towards it. And I personally believe that everyone should automate as much as possible so that saving feels like any other bill, like my utility bill. The best saving strategies are built on an out of sight, out of mind philosophy. It's gone. Automating that goal takes away the monthly budgetary constraints that prevent that check from being written. And if you're self-employed or in an eat what you kill sales job that makes a fixed monthly amount harder to stick to, you have the best of both worlds. Now you see, what does that mean? You often have the ability to make as much as you want. That's great, right? But I also know that many people in this situation often reward themselves handsomely, and there just isn't much left over to save. So I suggest, as many of you have done, that you intentionally and deliberately write down how much you'd like to save each year and share that with us. Or if you don't know what that number is, just ask us to tell us how much you need to save each year to make your goals. And we'll tell you. We'll then put dates to the numbers, and our team will even hold you accountable with a phone call when it's time to actually write that check. And then we leave you alone. Easy. I'm already doing this with so many of you, and often a simple phone call or an email is the best form of accountability. I recently shared a strategy I used when I first started saving. You see, once I hit my emergency fund goal, I kept socking money into that account each month. And then at the end of the year, if I was still over my target balance, I'd take the surplus and go on vacation. Of course, if you're saving for a new car, or a second home, or want to buy those fancy shoes, you can fill in the blank with how you spend that surplus or decide to let it keep building. You know, some years you'll have that excess, and some years your car and your HVAC will die at the exact same moment. It's happened to me. My point is, though, once your financial cushion is established, don't be afraid to have a little fun or put money towards a more frivolous goal when life hasn't thrown you any of those recent curveballs. Now, I know you're thinking, Dave, when I wrote down all the things that I'd spend money on if money were no object way back when we first suggested this, an emergency fund wasn't on the list. No way, no how. And I know, and I'm sorry, but we have to cover the basics first. So not having that safety net in place to cover life's what ifs creates financial stress, especially when one of those what ifs actually occurs, which it will. So if you have any questions about saving or what emergency fund balance would help you sleep better at night, please give us a call. We're always here to help.